Is that barrel gonna... Fire everywhere! Ah! He's gone! Hang on a minute!
The nearest civilization is a town called Moron. In order to reach it, you must build the contents of these boxes. You have enough food for 7 days.
Oh, dear. Oh.
Let's do this.
Now, a lot of people have been saying, why has it taken so long? What have you been doing? Well, hopefully, we can answer that with this short montage of what you can expect over... Here we go! I think you're going to like this series, and I particularly think you're going to like how it begins, because even over here on this side of the pond, we recognise that Detroit is the spiritual home to anyone whose communion... Hurry up! Local people are being encouraged to grow kale and beans and seeds.
Get a bloody move on.
These are the toys we'll be using. 3 American muscle cars, all of which have been tuned to a tire-shredding DEFCON 1. I have the Ford Mustang RTR Spec 3. Mr. Slowly has what's called the Exorcist. And in his whining Dodge Challenger Demon, Hammond has an erection.
To make this, they took a Hellcat I drove up before on the show and just made it more of everything. Bloody hell, fire. This car is tuned by Hennessy. They've taken a standard Camaro and they've given it 1,000 horsepower. They haven't touched anything else, only the engine. Wheels are standard, brakes are standard, suspension is standard, bumpers are standard. It's all standard except the power. This is quite a complicated one. Quite slow there. It's idiotic, honestly. And yea, though I walk in the shadow of the valley of death, I will fear no evil. Because I am the exorcist.
This may look small and delicate compared to the other two, but be in no doubt, it has the muscle car credentials. Oh, yeah.
The fact is that the engine in Alan's car is a push-rod, two-valve iron museum piece. And May's car, yes, it has 1,000 horsepower, but it's running on standard brakes. This is just a little bit clever. They haven't just put a supercharger on it and left it at that. They stiffened up the suspension and lowered it and stiffened the anti-roll bars. So, it could do this. Ooh, look at that for a tidy line. Oh, God, that looks tricky. For God's sake.
This then is, but be in no doubt, it has the muscle car credentials. Oh, yeah.
The fact is that the engine in Alan's car is a push-rod, two-valve iron museum piece. And May's car, yes, it has 1,000 horsepower, but it's running on standard brakes. This is just a little bit clever. They haven't just put a supercharger on it and left it at that. They stiffened up the suspension and lowered it and stiffened the anti-roll bars.
Then is the Anthony Joshua of muscle cars. Big and brawny, but it has brains as well. Then there's its name. It's the RTR, which stands for, and I'm not making this up, ready to rock.
Chaps, did you know mine only comes with one seat as standard?
Really?
What?
As standard, you get one seat in a Demon. You can opt to have the others put back in, and it costs you $1.
Which seat do they put in as standard?
Eventually, we decided to pull over in our motoring theme park to see which of our fairground muscle rides would be the fastest. In a street drag race. So, what I'm thinking is, here, when the lights go green, down, what's a quarter of a mile, just beyond the church?
Yeah, something like that.
Perfect.
What if the police come?
Well, he won't, he's in Beverly Hills. I've seen the movie.
Why can't we just do this on a racetrack or a runway like we usually do?
Because we're here to prove that this is a racetrack.
Detroit is empty now and should just be used for this sort of thing.
Yes, but it isn't a real race. It isn't an actual race.
No, it is.
It is.
This is where the muscle car was born.
I can't do it.
Why can't you do it?
Because Dodge only lent me that car if I promised not to do any drag racing on the road with it.
What?
But it isn't.
That's what it's for.
I know.
It's literally what it's for.
Yes, I know, but that's the way it is. I'm sorry.
Do you think it's an insurance?
It is. It's because it's
No,
him.
it's
because
They don't want it on the roof.
Who's driving it? Richard Hammond.
You can't drive it.
It's just what they said, and I'm really sorry, so we can't do it. I'm sorry.
We can.
We're not going to do it without that.
Let me think. Yeah, we are. Just
Really
right
gonna-
the way. Right the way.
One for all and all for yourselves. That's how it goes, isn't it?
Aircon is off.
Three, two, one. I don't want to sound like you, but the launch control of this car is so complicated, there's a huge video about it, and I have watched it, but I've forgotten.
Finally, I waved the white flag. And then we took a closer look at the savage beating heart of the Exorcist. And that's a standard Corvette engine, basically.
Z06, yep.
With a supercharger plonked on the top. That's there, yes?
Yes, 2.9 litre supercharger.
So the bit they've bolted to your engine is bigger than most European engines.
Yes.
So's the one on mine. It's 2.7 litres.
Yeah, not as big. The point is, Simon, this is the Exorcist. The job of the Exorcist is to vanquish the demon.
It's like, you remember in the 60s, I think Di Tommaso made a car called the Mangusta, which is Italian for mongoose.
Yes, and a mongoose can kill a cobra, can't it?
That's why they did it.
Yes, but this hasn't vanquished the demon. It hasn't beaten it.
Tell you what, why don't you find a racetrack or a runway somewhere, okay? I'll gracefully bow out, and we can have a race between good and evil. First, though, we decided to find out which of our cars makes the loudest noise. There were, of course, many possible locations for this important test. But eventually, we found one that was absolutely ideal.
Since the owners feared the noise from our engines would bring down the crumbling roof, we were given protective clothing. We've got to put this on because there may be dust. There will be dust.
Traction off. I'll just make wheel spin. Wheel spin, that just makes a huge amount of noise. Are you ready?
Yes.
Go.
God, that's pretty horrible.
How loud?
Well, at its peak,
Yep.
125.2. Well, wait a minute. You don't know. You're the first to go.
125?
Yes.
The Who, widely regarded to be the loudest rock band of all time.
Yes.
126 decibels. Deep Purple, a mere 117 decibels. That car is louder than Deep Purple.
But probably a lot quieter than my demon.
Any minute now, paramedic will be cutting his trousers off.
You should have taken them off before he got in.
Joe, I don't know why he wears trousers.
Here we go, ready in 3, 2. Oh, wait a minute, it hasn't done it. Easy mistake. We've all done it, forgotten the key when you're donutting in a Detroit theatre that's been turned into a multi-storey car park. Everybody's been there.
Okay, in 3, 2...
Begin.
Oh, God!
Oh, yeah.
125.2 to beat.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of noise.
118.8, tiptoe boy.
2.7 litre capacity supercharger on it. It's
Yeah, but it doesn't make
well,
any
they didn't
noise.
build it for this. They built it for drag racing, and they wouldn't let me
Oh,
do
what,
that.
did they?
So,
Did they?
How do we know?
well, they did. Before this sore point became even sorer, I sent James off to have a go.
Don't think he's ever done a donut
No,
in his life.
no.
We are about to witness James D. May losing his virginity.
Popping his donut cherry.
James May, are you ready? Fire it up in 3... It took him a little while, but eventually he got the hang of it.
Away! What's my score?
Why don't we just go? Come on, James, we've got to go.
Yep, moving on.
What was it?
Oh, I've wiped it.
No, you haven't.
It was 12.
Come on, what was... Why have I got this on my face? What was
It
it?
was 128, so just 2.8 more than me.
So more.
Yes.
Hold that.
Why?
Please just hold that.
Oh, I hate the victory dance. I hate the victory dance.
Good, right, let's
How much
move on.
is your car? How much?
98, something like that.
£98,000.
Yes.
40,000.
Yeah, but mine's better, so it's more expensive.
40,000.
Faster and louder.
720 horsepower, £40,000.
Am I the only person here who understands muscle cars?
That's a ridiculous thing to say.
You asked for it. You asked for it.
You never got the burgers either. No, you didn't. We shall pick that up later on.
You may remember in the very first show of the Grand Tour in the first season, I was blown away by McLaren P1.
Yeah, I do remember. You said it would be faster than the Porsche 918 and the Ferrari, And, no, wait a minute. It wasn't, was it? And as a result, the only thing that got blown away was your house.
Yes, that's undoubtedly true.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it remains to this day the most exciting, most brutal, most visceral car I've ever driven. And I didn't think it could ever be topped. But McLaren have given it a bash. And I thought, well, if they've built a car that can out P1 a P1, I'd better test it somewhere a bit less narrow and a bit less tree-lined and a bit less covered in deers and badgers than the Ebola drone. So I took it to the fastest racetrack in Europe, which is... Actually, anyone want to guess which it is? No, not Monza. Not Spa.
Do you know?
What?
Do you know?
Thruxton.
Boys.
Thruxton is the fastest racetrack in Europe. So that's where I took the new McLaren.
Hello, fellow driving enthusiasts. James here. Owing to the unique way we make video games, we are sadly unable to have the McLaren Senna in this episode for now. Apologies for that. As a sort of consolation prize, we're going to go back and look at Hammond driving the equally fantastic McLaren 720S from Season 2. It's a cracker, apart from the Hammond bit.
While the outgoing car may have been great to drive, it was never what you'd call beautiful or even very exciting to look at. But its replacement, well, that's a different matter. It's called the 720S, and from any angle and in every detail, it's simply sensational. Right down to the engine bay that glows red when you unlock the doors.
Yep, on the head turnometer, this thing definitely matches the Ferrari 488 and the Lamborghini Huracan. And then when we move on to the business of speed and power, it actually beats them.
To 60 takes just 2.8 seconds. Top speed is 212 miles an hour. Both those numbers walloping the efforts of the Italians.
Everything is bigger in this car. Even the price, £208,000. Oh, wait, that's not a good point, is it? No, that's a... never mind, whatever. The horsepower is... well, it's ridiculous is what it is. This 4-litre V8 with its twin turbos produces 710 of them. To put that into context, the actual mechanical engine in a McLaren P1 without all the hybrid battery boost produces just 17 horsepower more. Net result of that is... staggering!
However, although they've gone nuts with the styling and the engine, the 720 is still very much a McLaren.
By that, I mean it's been made by the ultimate tech nerds from the kingdom of geeks. Let me put it this way. This is, like I say, the replacement for the McLaren 650S. And if you ask a McLaren technician, so how much of this car is new then? They will tell you 91%. Not nearly all of it, mate, or about 90%. 91%. James May applied for a job at McLaren, but they turned him down for being too slapdash.
And this incredible geekery has paid dividends. For example, one of the reasons the 720 looks so pretty is because it's the only mid-engine supercar without massive gaping intakes behind the doors. Instead, McLaren created subtle channels along the bodywork to feed air into the engine bay.
More nerd stuff. The old car, the 650, had a carbon fibre tub that came up to here. On the 720, all of that down the centre, everything is carbon fibre. That means these carbon windscreen pillars can be very thin, which makes it easier to see out, and it's light. Overall, they've lost about 18 kilograms up here. That means the centre of gravity is lower, which is good. God, it's the grip. It's staggering. It feels like a four-wheel drive. But if you do want things to get a little more leery, simply dive into the computers and activate variable drift control. It lets you select the angle of dangle through your drift by varying the amount of traction control. I think we'll go for all of it. Lots of drift available. Go, go, go.
Your slugfest, you can switch back to comfort mode and settle down for a relaxing cruise.
That's the thing that stands out about this car. It's everything in one. You want speed, you get speed. You want comfort, you get comfort. You want to lose tyre rubber, help yourself. You want boot space, there's plenty.
But the thing I keep coming back to is those looks. Because, at last, McLaren's technical perfection has been clothed in a way that does justice to the fizzing brilliance underneath.
God, I'm falling in love a bit here. Actually, no, I'll go further. I'm in love. This is utterly brilliant.
Proud to be British for that. We must now get back to our film.
Yes.
Earlier on, we decided that Detroit should be a big sort of petrol-head theme park. So we went over there with 3 tuned muscle cars.
Yep, and so far we've staged a drag race, done some donuts, and Jeremy has driven over some vegetables.
And then the next day, we decided that what Detroit really needs is a racetrack.
Yeah, even though it already has 2.
Yes, but we wanted something more earthy. So we headed for the city centre. Having returned to the rundown suburbs, we eventually found the perfect place to build a racetrack. Cadillac's old Connor Avenue factory. For over 60 years, they stamped out the body panels here for icons like the Eldorado, the Fleetwood, and the Coupe de Ville. If it were up to James, this creaking monument to the Motor City's decline would be turned into a shrubbery. But it wasn't up to James. So it would become a Monte Carlo-style tunnel feature on our Detroit-themed racetrack. Because building the track involved heavy machinery and manual labor, Hammond insisted on doing everything himself.
That is going to be a fast corner.
Despite this, though, he soon had everything ready. Because the track had been built by the world's most accident-prone driver, we thought it best that the God-fearing exorcist should christen it. James couldn't wait to give Hammond some constructive feedback.
I just want to say, Hammond, you witless dishcloth. That is the worst racetrack I've ever been round. It's slippery, it's full of holes, it's full of obstacles for you to crash into, it's narrow.
It's challenging, is it? Technical.
It's not challenging, it's only about that much bigger than the car, and it's made of butter. And it appears to be full of asbestos waste. Oh, it is full of asbestos?
Yeah, I'm sorry about
that. Oh, well,
that.
thank you.
Sorry, close your window.
All of us then set about our practice laps on Hammond's death trap. However, these were just unofficial practice laps. Now it was time for the one-shot winner-takes-all real thing.
In 3,
2, 1, begin!
go!
Oh, that's interesting. Pooed myself.
Funny noise.
However, the trouser accident had clearly been worth it.
Yep.
I'm happy with that, and I haven't hit any famous musicians or bits of old car factory.
Next, it was the turn of Corporal Crash.
Where's the fire engine gone? I saw
Fire
it
engine's
earlier.
over there. Ambulance is...
Oh, we're all comedians today.
there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Remember, if you lose to James May...
It's more humiliating. It's worse than death.
In 3, 2, 1...
Oh my God.
Around my own racetrack. What have I done?
Felt good. It felt like a quick one.
I don't know how to put this to you, but...
No.
0.4 of a second slower than James May.
This is what death feels like.
Yep, okay, get out of the demon. We've done the demon and the exorcist. It's time for the blue nun.
Blue Nun?
Yeah.
Totally pointless waste of time there. We've established the Mustang is the fastest by an enormous margin. But I'll go and do it, I suppose.
Jeremy Smug in My Little Pony, are you ready?
In 3, 2, 1.
Go.
coming.
I know, but you'll see. Got to get down to this corner before he gets back. Help me tip this over.
What is it?
It's organic palm oil, very slippery. It's the revenge of the urban farmer.
Into the blind bend. There is Stevie Wonder.
You do know it's palm oil that's ruining life for the world's orangutans.
Only this one.
Come on, come on. Short shifting into third.
And on that terrible disappointment...
For him.
It's back to the tent.
Wait it. The race between good and evil. Are we ready, gentlemen? We ready?
Go.
Go. What's happening?
I've got a couple of things to do before we start.
You think you can't just drag race this now?
Well, you've got to do it properly. This is a proper drag racing car.
What is he doing?
This is what you get when you buy a Demon. Costs you an extra $1 and you get this crate. Oh, it's like a picnic hamper for men. Then, underneath and to either side, I've got boxes with a new ECU. I've got everything I need.
ECU?
Yeah. Look at that!
He's got this enormous crate and some bags and tins full of tools with 2 space savers and...
Space saver wheels?
Hang on. Right, so that's in. Good.
Yep, now I've got to do the ECU, which goes in here, I believe. I'm going to have to take that out, I think.
So he's now got a different ECU, just telling the engine to be powerful.
Right. Why didn't they just put that one in from the start?
So this all goes back in here with my new switch gear in.
It's 1 hour and 7 minutes.
Actually, you're right, it is. It's over an hour now. God.
There we go.
Finally, the rebuild of the Demon was complete. And it was time for the drivers to warm their tires. In 3, 2, 1, burn out!
Away!
Right, your tyres are warm. Are you now ready?
What?
Are you ready to come to the start line?
No!
What do you mean, no?
No, that was just a celebratory burnout.
Oh, geez, he's got out.
I've done all the building work, now I've got to set the car up.
What?
I've got to get in the right modes. There's stuff to do, mate.
Oh, I've had enough. I'm sorry, I've had enough. Bye.
We're never going to do this.
So, I need to go into drag. Drag mode activating. Excellent. Drag transmission, drag traction, power. So, power needs to go up to 840. We are now in high octane.
I've never known anything like it.
With our starter on his way back to London, the traffic lights were brought in, and finally, we were ready to go. I'm gonna bust your ass, evil boy. Oh, yes.
What are you going to do with it now? Because I've seen the film and I wouldn't do it. Three, 2, 1, begin. Come on, unleash the beast. Evil wins. Evil wins. Yes! Victory for the Demon. Thank you. Aha! Because I won.
You won.
Because
you
I
did
won.
win.
Yes,
Well
I
done.
did. You noticed that?
Yes, I noticed
that I
you.
won.
Yes.
At the end of the race, if you saw, my car was in front of your car, which means I won.
Can I just point out that first you had to spend half a day rebuilding half your car, and then you had to run it on fuel that you can't buy from a normal petrol station.
No, wait a minute. Your excrement runs on that clever fuel all the time.
I was sort of banking on you not knowing that.
Yes, well,
Gentlemen,
I do know it.
Gentlemen, I think we have to agree that the Mustang is the only car here that ticks all the muscle car boxes. It's cheap, It's powerful, it runs on fuel you can buy, and you can have it with the steering wheel on the correct side.
You don't get it, do you? You just don't get it. A muscle car is supposed to have 1,000 horsepower, be undrivable, and have a stupid name.
It's called Ready to Rock. That is a stupid name. Listen, Hammond, not only are you the fiscal brain of this operation, you're also the resident muscle car enthusiast, yes? So, and I know the answer to this because you told me on the plane on the way home, of the three cars, which would you actually buy?
Buy.
Buy.
With my own money?
Yes.
Buy.
Yes.
Myself?
Yes.
It's the Mustang.
There you go, the Mustang. And so on that terrible disappointment for you...
Snowflakes.
It's time to end. Now, next week, it is a Grand Tour special, where we attempt to become the first ever television show in the history of television to go to Colombia and not use the C word. See you then. Goodbye.
Is that barrel gonna...
Fire everywhere!
Ah! He's gone!
Look! Hang on a minute!
The nearest civilization is a town called Moron. In order to reach it, you must build the contents of these boxes. You have enough food for 7 days.
Oh dear! Oh God!
Were this not such a serious situation, it would be a good laugh.
There must have been 30 or 40 people in the room when the police arrived.
Whoa! Clarkson!
Jesus Christ, no, I'm too close to the edge.
Let's sing a song.
No. I am sitting where Jim Clark sat.
Going in hard and hard! We're fleeing!
Okay, flee. Well, he'll be using a pistol, won't he? Is that barrel gonna...
Fire everywhere!
Ah! He's gone!
Look! Hang on a minute!
The nearest civilization is a town called Moron. In order to reach it, you must build the contents of these boxes. You have enough food for 7 days.
Oh dear! Oh God!
Were this not such a serious situation, it would be a good laugh.
There must have been 30 or 40 people in the room when the police arrived.
Whoa! Clarkson!
Jesus Christ, no, I'm too close to the edge.
Let's sing a song.
No. I am sitting where Jim Clark sat.
Going in hard and hard! We're fleeing!
OK, Flea. Well, he'll be using a pistol, won't he? Is that barrel gonna...
Fire everywhere!
Ah, he's gone!
Look! Hang on a minute.
The nearest civilization is a town called Moron. In order to reach it, you must build the contents of these boxes. You have enough food for 7 days.
Oh dear! Oh God!
Were this not such a serious situation, it would be a good laugh.
There must have been 30 or 40 people in the room when the police arrived.
Whoa! Clarkson!
Jesus Christ, no, I'm too close to the edge.
Let's sing a song.
No. I am sitting where Jim Clark sat.
Going in hard and hard! We're fleeing!
OK, Flea. Well, he'll be using a pistol, won't he? Is that barrel gonna...
Fire everywhere!
Ah, he's gone!
Look! Hang on a minute.
The nearest civilization is a town called Moron. In order to reach it, you must build the contents of these boxes. You have enough food for 7 days.
Get a bloody move on.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to what is a Grand Tour special.
Yep, and it's going to be a big one because we've had a request from Amazon. You know how if you're watching a program and you pause it, you get to see a selection of beautiful landscape photographs from all around the world?
Yeah, well, we've been asked to come up with some new photographs of wild animals.
Yeah, us three wildlife photographers. What could possibly go wrong with that?
It's such an obvious idea. I don't know why we never thought of it before. But anyway, we decided that obviously we'd need the right gear and the right cars, and then we should meet up with all of that in the most ecologically diverse country on Earth, Colombia.
Let's do this.
But for some extraordinary reason, Richard Hammond decided that the start point should be in the middle of the night, close to the bustling city of Cartagena, on a tropical beach.
Morning.
Morning.
Why did he say meet on a beach, and why did we listen to him?
Where is he?
Hammond!
It's 4 o'clock, for Pete's sake.
Oh, is that a Fiat Panda?
Fiat Panda 4x4.
It's terrible.
It's fantastic.
No, that's fantastic. Look at that. That is a sturdy car, that is. What's that? Well, wasn't that a distressed flare?
Well, a red one is a distress, isn't it?
What's that?
Hang on, is there a person on? There's somebody on it.
Hello? Hello?
Hello!
It's Hammond.
Is that your car?
Yes, this is my car!
It's his car. As the sun began to rise, we asked Hammond to come ashore so we could work out what on earth was going on. Well, where do we begin? Why is your car up there?
Well, because that's where the boat dropped me off.
What boat?
Well, I shipped it from North America.
Yeah.
They got to here, wrapped it in polythene, lobbed it over the side, me with it. That's how they do it.
Problem we've got is, how are you going to get your car from there to here?
I was rather hoping that would be we'd do that. That's
No, if you listen carefully, he said how you're going to get your car from there to here.
You singular.
It's you, meaning you.
What?
No, he didn't say
You may
us.
just get up at 4 o'clock as well. Eventually, though, James relented and agreed to pull Hammond's car ashore. Right, go, May. Go, go, go. Give it a yap.
3, 2, 1, go.
James, what is that? I mean,
It's got 49 horsepower. It's going to ruin it. Get
can
the
we find
Jeep.
a small dog instead to tow it?
That is presumably a pickup truck. Yes?
Yes, you've
And
guessed.
four-wheel drive.
Yes.
Right. Why don't you go out there, cut away the polythene bag, and drive it out using the engine?
It's a good idea. Because what you don't do when you drive a car is use the engine in someone else's car. You use the one in your own car.
Yes.
Unfortunately, though, it wouldn't start.
No.
So, after getting brained by the waves for a while, he waded ashore again and came up with a harebrained scheme where the Fiat would be an anchor and the Jeep a tug.
3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, shit.
Hammond, you moron!
Well, I couldn't do anything. I got no steering. I was
Why
talking.
didn't you tell us?
I was yelling on the radio. You pulled me
This
from a
family has
building.
loved this car since 1991, and you turn up from bloody Wales or North America or wherever it is you've been, and you've already ruined it.
Listen, it's been a bit of a cluster thing. We need to work it all out. We need communications properly organised.
What is
You
that?
need
That?
It's my ladder.
You bought something you can't get into or out of without a ladder.
It's very high up.
So far, Hammond's pickup had wrecked everything on the beach and all my cameras and cost us 10 hours. So we told him to shut up again and get it working. And once he'd done that,
Yeah!
we headed into Cartagena to buy some cameras.
Right, this Jeep Wrangler hardtail cost £8,000. And absolutely everything on it works.
Go. I think it's going to be ideal, though, for wildlife photography because it's four-wheel drive, it's Jeep. So I could use it to track a snow leopard. It's got a 4-litre straight 6, so I could keep up with a diving eagle. And of course, no roof, fold-down windscreen. So a 360-degree field of fire for my camera. Go, 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 go!
Let me fill you in a bit on my 1998 Chevy CK Silverado. It's a full-size American pickup that's been made a bit bigger with a lift kit and modifications that I'll tell you about later. Most importantly, it's got a proper big old 7.4 litre V8 up front in a very lazy state of tune, just churning out huge gobbets of growth. Go! I have four-wheel drive, high and low ratios. That and this massive lift kit, I can go anywhere. No animal's going to stay away from my lens. Probably most wildlife photographers use things like this anyway. You don't see it, on the telly with Attenborough and stuff, because, well, this is behind the scenes. This is how they get there.
Now we're alone, viewers, let me tell you a little bit about my car. And I know some of you are thinking, oh, that's just a Fiat Panda, and they're in South America, they're bound to be going over difficult terrain, yes, yes, yes. But let me tell you this, what you need for serious off-roading is smallness and lightness. That's what I've got. This is a tiny car, it weighs 780 kilograms, a quarter of what Hammond's stupid monster truck weighs. Go! Now, if you compare this with the original Series 1 Panda, it has a four-wheel drive system made in Austria, very dependable, slightly raised ride height, but the same engine does have inclinometers on it so that I can see when I'm about to fall over. It all works, the lights work, the hazards work, the fan, the cooling system, all the instruments, the windows and the automatic mirrors, it's all perfect, apart from the bit that Richard Hammond damaged.
Soon we arrived at the really rather beautiful walled city of Cartagena. Eventually, having got our shopping done, we met up for a camera show and tell. And once again, Hammond had gone completely over the top.
This is a 50mm prime, really fast, beautiful lens. Then I've got another harness, so that's for the actual camera. Importantly, of course, camera body, very good one.
Well remembered.
And most importantly of all, telephoto lens.
Shall I show you what I've got?
Yes?
I haven't bothered with any of that. I've just gone for the telephoto, not one of yours, but that. This is all I've got. That's all you need.
Well, that is literally it.
Yeah, that's all you need.
Well, are you going to photograph animals in this country? It's a lot of glass.
Clear this away, let me show you what I've got.
Right.
That is a camera.
If we'd been tasked with photographing somebody's 21st birthday party...
Perfect.
Welcome to 2018. Everything you've got in all that kit that you've just shown us is in there.
Show me your zoom lens.
Behold the
What,
lens.
is it a cold day?
Behold the zoom. The woman in the shop said this camera takes good pictures. That's enough for me.
Keen to get cracking, we hit the streets and began immediately to do animal photography. James, move, you're in my shot. Woof. We've got to get further away.
Oh, Christ, I've got a macro on. Stay, pigeon. Don't scare it.
Get out of the way.
Oh, I'm sorry, am I annoying
Yes,
you?
you are.
Well, yes,
you
you
can't
do to
possibly
me.
need to be that close. Hello, horsey.
Eventually, we got into the groove. Got it.
Look at my pigeon.
And after just 20 minutes, we met up to celebrate a job well done.
Yeah, I've got half dog.
You've got that horse one.
I've got the pigeon looking gormless.
I think haven't we pretty much done
A
it?
number of dogs and a number of horses.
And why don't you pull alongside your colleague in his, let's be honest, 1 litre Fiat Panda with your 7.4 litre monster truck, and let's see who's got the slowest car, okay?
Okay.
3, 2, 1, go.
Away!
Oh, God.
Get past him.
Richard Trailer Trash Trump Hammond has been beaten, and beaten big time, bigly.
I mean, I don't want you to take this personally or anything, Hammond, but your truck must be utter garbage.
Absolute garbage.
You wait, this thing will come into its own soon and you'll be left gasping.
I'm longing to see the environment where that comes into its own.
Since the Jaguars weren't going to be in built-up areas, we ploughed deep into the jungle, along a dirt path that was once a railway built by the British.
Go.
That will do. No. Right, onto the straight. Here we go.
No! Where are we going?
Right, Jaguars, they are very difficult to spot and very, very rare.
You don't want to come face to face with a Jaguar, though.
'Cause it does have very strong bitey bits. Kills its prey by biting through its skull and then penetrating its brain.
We drove for miles along the disused railway until eventually LGB Jeremy came to a halt.
Gentlemen, I'm rather confused here. We're approaching a bridge, okay? It says no cars, no people, no motorcycles, and no horses.
Well, what's it for then?
Moments later, we found out.
It's all right, James. Why don't you just... He is actually go. James doesn't like heights.
Oh, did you see that one just moved?
Yes. What is that? Hold on.
That's
Oh, careful.
1, 2. You've got 7, 8, maybe 8 feet.
But that means I'll have to drive. I can't.
Well, it's got massive tyres. You'll just be running on the outer ones.
Well, so I get to this bit. My car is wider than that, and that's wider than my wheel. It won't do it.
And that's high, actually. What is that, 300 feet?
Some hundreds of feet, yes. Oh dear.
Even though Hammond isn't at all accident-prone, I went first. Seatbelt on or off? Off. Because what bloody difference will it make? Really?
Go.
This is a lot higher than it looked in the brochure. Oh, bollocks. Savage acceleration. Roaring up. Oh, very, very quickly here. 2. Oh, oh, oh. Drive carefully. There we go. Speed up again now.
Oh. Oh. Right, I've made it. That's good. Hammond, you will shit your pants doing this.
Well, that's helpful.
I already am watching.
No! Not looking down, thinking about other things. Now very slowly. Right then, let's go. Go! It's not going to work. Forward.
And then it was the turn. Big Donald.
Oh God. The only way I can do this is by looking at the driver's side tyre and keeping it as close as I can to that edge. And hoping to God that gives me enough. Oh, Christ.
Again.
I'm shaking like I've never shaken. God. Come on, come on, come on. I'm just going to look at the wood, not at what's below, just look at the wood.
Who is that clippity-clopping across my bridge?
Oh, God. Not the Billy Goat Grab game.
I will move my Jeep out of your way. If you can answer this simple prog rock question.
I don't know anything about prog rock at all. Let me off the bridge, I'm going to be sick, please.
Eventually, Hammond became quite irritated, so I abandoned the game. And soon, all of us became quite irritated. James, have you broken down?
Yes.
Problem is, you have people on the extreme left, James May, people on the extreme right, Richard Hammond, and it's always the liberal, sensible people in the middle, like me, who cop for it.
Eventually, having fixed the Fiat, I was back on the road again.
This car is just amazing.
But then,
Oh dear, I think I've just lost the exhaust pipe. This is tremendous. It's like being on a rally stage. Away! Oh no! Quite slow there.
it going.
That Tony and Sherry Blair were, in fact, massive World Rally Championship fans. In fact, I think they took part in a couple on the quiet. They just didn't want people to know about it. They thought it would sort of damage their reputation and their standing. Unlike, say, starting a war.
Further ahead, my long lens had grabbed a couple of animals.
I don't believe Amazon will be rushing to have that as their screen.
Further ahead, my long lens had grabbed a couple of animals.
I don't believe Amazon will be rushing to have that as their screensaver.
But we had yet to bag a jag. However, as it's a nocturnal animal, we were hoping for more luck as darkness fell. Eventually, though, after driving deep into the jungle, we arrived at exactly the sort of spot where jaguars like to hang out. This is extraordinarily promising.
I'm bored, and I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes.
I'm being eaten and I'm bored as well.
I think if a jaguar came now, I wouldn't see it. My eyes have shut down. From boredom.
What are we going to do?
I don't know, but that is boring.
No, because honestly, I mean, the truth is, people could come out here for 40 years and not see a jaguar.
Well, we could use my trap cameras.
These are trap cameras.
Set it up and they're triggered by an animal and then they take a picture.
Well, you've got those with you?
Yeah, in the bag.
Well, why the hell didn't you say that when we turned up?
Nobody asked.
These are set off remotely.
Yeah. If an animal...
Well, why are we still here?
That's a very good point, actually. It's better that we go away, isn't it?
Let's take the Bear Grylls approach to natural history. There was a town, well, 10 kilometres away. Why don't we go into the town, have a drink, check into a hotel. How's that sound?
And then come back tomorrow and
Yes.
check the cameras.
Yes.
That's how you're supposed to use them. It's in the instructions. That's what you do. You set it up.
The next morning, with James in a state of deep puzzlement, Hammond and I checked out the ruined trap cameras. So, let me just get this clear. The Jaguar mauled your camera?
Yeah.
Is that really where it's bitten it?
Yeah, look, it's come off it.
So, but he's broken it.
Yes, he's broken.
But did
anyway.
this is the important thing. Did we get any pictures?
All right, look.
No.
Something triggered it. Maybe a leaf. Ah, look! There!
Where?
There! That's
Oh,
it.
that's it!
That's it
God,
walking
it's
back. It's a
camouflage.
There's his head, there's his head! That's its actual face.
I mean, they're not...
There!
Yeah, but he's got a tree in front of him.
Oh, yeah, but that's context, that's habitat.
What's that?
This is when it got destroyed. That's its mouth. That's whiskers. Look.
No.
That's a Jaguar biting. That is an action shot. That's probably got awards all over it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Eyes.
Oh! Now that is a great picture, and we can move on.
It is.
We have ticked that box. That's the Ace of Spades, the Jaguar. That's Saddam Hussein. We've now got to go and get his sons. With the Jaguar in the bag, our sights were set on the next target. Another rare and reclusive creature. The spectacled bear. We now have to drive 200 miles to find the sort of terrain where we're going to be able to photograph the King of Spades, Edgar Hussein, Paddington. And eventually we arrived in Spectacle Bear country. Right, now listen. What to do?
I like your trousers.
Well, no, at least he's trying. He's making an effort. But you should have gone the whole hog. Maybe some nice, hey, we're in the outdoors, some nice chaps. Suede, but ventilated at the back. And that shirt, you've picked up that colour. Have you been getting advice?
Maybe turn our attention to the bears now, to Paddington.
His skin's flaking. You should moisturise.
It's... what?
You should moisturise.
A little bit.
In the modern...
It's
moisturise?
because your skin's flaking.
Because
off.
you're dry. You look like something found in a pyramid.
Anyway, listen, we must turn our attention...
Let's have a look at the sarcophagus.
I'm not putting that in the British Museum.
Rather than put up with any more of this persecution, I insisted we saddle up and set off to look for Paddington.
Go! For God's sake.
Keep it diagonal, obviously, while crossing these things. Oh, shite!
Oh! Oh! Look at you with the wheel in the air.
Can we please try not to make this look like it's a problem, because the ladies and gentlemen think we're hopeless. I tried to drive myself out, which went well. Speed and power.
He's just dug himself a hole.
So I asked Hammond for help, but predictably, his pickup truck chose that moment to go into one-wheel drive.
Oh dear.
There was only one solution. With the rope hitched up, we were ready to go.
So I'll give you a small tug,
Was that a gentle tug?
There we go.
and then it's down to you because I haven't got the weight to pull you, okay? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Go.
A Fiat Panda!
Yes!
Yes!
Jeremy Corbyn just pulled Freddie Mercury out.
It's a meeting of minds.
I'm not sure we're very good at fist bumping. With that calamity sorted, Hammond got four-wheel drive back, and we resumed our mission. Right. Let's go on a bear hunt.
Go. Oops.
I'm actually looking forward to seeing a bear, I really am. I like all bears except polar bears, which I hate. They're vicious and they eat school children. Joyously, we soon found another suitable spot, where I discovered I had a small problem. I'm still not high enough up to see over the shrubs.
Well, nothing you can do about it now.
What?
Shut up. Nothing you can do about
Yeah,
it.
I'm telling you, I just wish I was a bit
That's
higher.
how high you are.
What was that?
It's bear noise. Shh. I'm not bored now. No, it's a bear. It's a bear. It's a bear. I can't see it. Fantastic. There's a bear. Yes, it is. It moved. Shh. I can see its face. Oh, yes.
Having had a decent night's sleep, we convened to plan our next move. Morning.
What's the matter with your face?
You're not good.
No.
It's like being in The Singing Detective.
It is.
Bloody roof. Anyway, listen.
Sorry, I'm briefly mesmerised.
Listen.
I'm back.
While you were out this morning buying new action trousers, I see, I have got a book. All of Colombia's wildlife is in this book. Yep, all of it. I've been through it. Guess what there isn't?
A hippopotamus.
Well, so far we've got pigeon, dog, horse.
Donkey.
Don't bring those up, please. Jaguar.
Jaguar.
Bear.
Bear.
Yes.
Condor is next. Condor is next.
Is there a case, I think there is, for a little light car modification?
I agree. There is. There is. I think I might be scaring them off a bit. I could make some changes.
I'm
Tell
just
you what I
thinking...
could give my car. A roof.
Yeah, that's
There
a
is
good
evidence
idea.
to suggest in your flaking visage.
Then you wouldn't look like Michael Gambon in the 80s.
I am Michael Gambon in the 80s. We then went shopping in Bogota's massive auto district. 20 city blocks of nothing but shops selling car parts.
Okay, you have to find mine.
Where is it?
Well, yours is the one disguised as a bush in an industrial car park.
I've camouflaged it.
Well, yes, you painted it.
It's got roll-down netting that goes over the windows when I'm using it as a hide, and it has an inbuilt... Well, it's got a raise on it as well, because the one problem I've had is ground clearance.
What?
Yeah.
You spent 2 days laughing at Hammond and me because we've got cars that have been raised and how awful they are, and then you've done exactly the same.
As an alternative expression, rather than I'm going to raise my car, why not I'm going to ruin
Yes.
my car?
What
which
you've done is
it does.
ruined it.
Well, let's see. I've done it very subtly.
Well, can we move on to Hammond, who's obviously gone
If you can find
completely mad?
I too have gone the camouflage route because it's green, as you can see. I've mended the half shaft up here. That's the only mechanical work I've had to do because other than that, it's been perfect. Yes, this structure here is a hide.
I know it is. It's a hide on a monster truck. And you, because it's you put 2 cameras in there to film yourself.
Yes, that's the most important thing.
I love the idea that you two, afraid there's no other word, morons, have decided that somehow you can camouflage your car so they won't be seen by aminals. I have already proved that mine can drive right up to a bear. He's interested.
Speaking of yours, what have you done? Whoa, what's all that on the back?
That, gentlemen, is a scissor lift.
What?
It's a scissor lift. Simply get in that and rise up. So that I have
so you're going to be a window cleaner?
The only thing this didn't really have was proper elevation. Now I have it.
How high does it go?
38 feet.
Really?
Yes.
It'll just fall over.
Aha! That's why I fitted it with outriggers.
They're not far enough apart. Or big enough.
They slide...
How much does it weigh, that?
I've added half a ton. And there's something else I've done. Oxygen is fitted for my engine.
Why do you need oxygen?
Because we're going very high.
Well, 38 feet.
No, 15,000 feet. More, actually. Nearly 16,000 feet.
Really?
Why?
Condors. They're in the sky.
That is
So I've got oxygen for the altitude, which we're going to.
Yeah.
That'll stop my face disintegrating.
It won't.
And that means I can photograph birds.
It won't.
As it was another 200-mile drive to reach Condor Country, we decided to get cracking immediately.
Go. Come on, car, please.
Oh, hang on.
Oh, God. Good, good, good. You're an 8.
I cannot wait to see a condor because they are one of the most superb creations on Earth. They just are magnificent. They can stay at 18,000 feet all day, maybe flap their arms once. Right, gentlemen, we're passing 10,000 feet now. How's your temperature gauges?
Mine's getting hot, really hot.
Weirdly, my car isn't overheating, but it is producing some steam because I think maybe the cap isn't perfectly sealed and the ambient pressure is going down.
Yeah.
Why does he say ambient pressure? Why not just pressure?
We continued on Jeremy's journey up into the heavens.
Right, we're at something like 11,500 feet. We're still climbing. Car is definitely struggling now. The engine burns a mixture of oxygen and petrol, mainly oxygen. The oxygen is going down, so you can't burn as much petrol, so the engine develops less power. have to go for second. Climb, Pepe!
Keep an eye on the temperature. It is working extra hard. We might just pass a critical level at which this car can't suck in enough oxygen to mix with fuel to burn. And then I'll run out of steam.
The good thing is that while my colleagues were painting their cars, I was fitting mine with oxygen tanks. So when I start to really struggle, I shall simply feed pure O2 to the engine and me.
Oh my God. Come on.
Hammond, how are things in your monster truck?
Not brilliant. It's gone very wheezy and it's getting very hot.
We've just passed 14,000 feet now. Really running out of power. Switching to oxygen for the engine. There we are. 2 clicks. Right, watch this. No.
For God's sake. This isn't a television. Oh no. Drive fast.
Come on, Z. Yes, you little beauty. Ooh. I may have overreached myself a little bit.
Oh, look at all the condos I can see. They're everywhere.
It doesn't work. Let's face it.
I've had a brilliant idea. Let's just get off this dusty bit and set our hides up there.
Yes.
So, we drove off the dust. Found a new, likely-looking spot. And when the clouds had lifted, we set about getting ready to do photography.
The idea of the netting is it stops the shine on the windows, which is very visible to animals. Oh. There was some on this side as well.
Right, it's ready.
You're going up in it?
Well, why'd you not?
Well, actually, one reason. It's in the maximum weight, 159 kilograms.
Well,
Well, you're not going anywhere, are you?
well, the camera is quite heavy.
No. Oh, okay, yes, the camera. Fly.
This is a lot higher than it looked in the brochure.
I wouldn't like that. That's really horrible. Keep going until the end bit drops out.
Why don't you two
Yes?
get in your cars?
Yes?
Okay.
And can I just reinforce one thing?
What?
Silence is key.
Agreed.
That ridge up there looks promising.
Right. Where is it?
No, back a bit, back.
I can't go back. I'll have to go all the way round.
What? I can hear it from up here. Right, that one there, stop.
Got it. I think I'll make a coffee. Sorry.
Then it was May's turn to disturb the peace. What is that?
It's a bird call.
It's a duck! Moments later, though, there was an even worse noise.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
If only there was something tall and metal that would attract the lightning.
Not wishing to be fried, I quickly descended. And then we all tried to outrun the storm. Which didn't work.
Oh no.
Gotta keep the pressure on.
Go.
Mercifully, though, the storm passed, so we drove down the rough and icy mountain track, long into the night. And the next morning, woke for a rethink in a makeshift camp on the edge of a town. What are you doing?
I told you condors live down here.
He's living. It was living up there and it's had engine failure and it's crashed here.
Doesn't matter how it got here. Fact is, it is, and I've got the pictures of it. That means we're done.
You can't put that on an Amazon screensaver.
Why not?
Well, this lost quite a lot of its majesty.
But it's a condor, and that means we're finished. That's it, we've done. James, I've got a condor shot.
Have you? Have you done it?
That is the final one. It's a condor, in camera, finished, out of here.
Hammond was wrong, though. We still had one more animal to find. The one that didn't make any sense. The hippopotamus. Right, listen. This is obviously some kind of town. I am a journalist, and a bloody good one. So why don't I pop into town and see if I can find out anything about this hippopotamus story? Having got the information, I went back to my colleagues.
Any joy?
more then. I have heard the most astonishing story. Apparently, there was this guy in Colombia who had a business exporting forest products all around the world, okay? Really, really successful. So successful, he bought himself some pet hippopotamuses.
Who was he?
Pablo, someone or other. Anyway, the police shot him.
Why?
I don't know. They shot him, and after he was dead, his hippopotamuses escaped. Yeah? And they've been living in the wild and breeding. So there are hippopotamuses here, and they are wild, and I know where they are, and they're only 120 kilometres away.
Well, we're in.
Let's do it.
Finish your coffees.
That's
That is
excellent.
staggering news.
The only thing is, for this 120 kilometres, would either of you mind if I modified my car by unmodifying it? We were now on the last 75 miles of our 1,300-mile trek through what had turned out to be one of the world's most incredible countries. If you were to combine Canada and Russia and Australia, you still wouldn't have the variety in terms of terrain and temperature and wildlife that we've seen on this absolutely epic journey.
Hurry up!
Yes, viewers, about 1 kilometre to go, and I haven't been run over by a monster truck.
Go!
Hang on. There you go. Help! I'm absolutely delighted. Hammond, I can only see you behind me. Can you see Clarkson behind you?
No, just looking for him.
At that moment, though, we were distracted by what lay in front of us.
That is a pond. That's a pond.
Rather than wait for Jeremy, we decided to be ready in case our final target appeared.
Hammond. Look at his big fat face. Yes.
Well, that's it.
That's tremendous. Hippopotamus.
Photos of a hippo.
Congratulations.
Well done us.
Well, I say we've done it. We've done it. Where's...
And I've been worrying about that. Well, if it gets here, you realise that'll be the first time any car on any of these trips has ever got to the end without a single fault. Nothing's gone wrong with it. See, that's about the only time that's ever happened. A car get to the end,
No, you're
it hasn't
right.
broken at all. That's a record.
You don't think he fell off that little scary bridgey bit?
I don't know. He overcooked it because it's near the end.
Go.
I'm back in the race. God, get the bloody move on.
Is that?
It is.
Oh, brief moment of elation followed by plummeting depression. Where have you been?
Welcome.
I've been mending my camera.
You don't need it.
What?
We've done it, mate. We've got shots of a hippo. It is done. We're finished. We've done it.
Behold the
Done it.
hippo.
We've got shots of a hippo just then.
Came out a couple of minutes ago.
So that's the end.
Yeah,
That is
job
the
done.
end.
Well, on that terrible disappointment, it's time to end. We hope you enjoy looking at the photographs we've taken.
They won't.
Well, some of them are quite good.
Well, one or two of them are good.
No.
Well, whatever. We'll see you very soon. Goodbye.